why you're famous and how you're helping people.
I'm not famous. I think people just like to hear me talk because I say that a lot. One of those things I've loved my journey in insurance, and it taught me more about business branding and marketing.
What the difference is between bourbon and whiskey.
Bourbon is a whiskey, but whiskey is not a bourbon.
Oh.
If you got sued when you're 25, you're going to be paying on it till you're 63 years old.
All you had to do was skip Denny's once a month.
The most valuable thing that you have is your advice.
What is the one piece of advice that you would give to them?
You are responsible for...
Boom!
There we are.
We got...
That was almost like an OHIO opening, just so you know. So I was super proud.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Is this a three-peat?
What, for me?
Yes.
Two-peat.
Two-peat?
No.
Has he been on three? Yeah, because EB, you were on before Jason was here. Like
one of the OGs.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I think I did 3 episodes by myself, and then Jason saw that it definitely needed to split.
I'm losing my mind in my old age.
Yeah.
You're our
we
first
did like
three-peat.
live on Facebook thing, and then, three-peat.
Oh.
First three-peat. And you were drinking coffee.
I'm
Coffee.
still drinking coffee.
It's a coffee dog.
Is it because you drank a lot of that Blanton's that I see there in the background?
It does. That slows me down. So then I got to have the coffee to pick me back up.
Tell me about those bottles. I don't know anything about that, being a non-drinker now.
You know what? Blanton's is it's a good bourbon. It's smooth. It's not the best, but it's all about the chase because they're hard to get. And so it's fun to try and get the bottles, and each of the bottle tops has a horse in a different position of a race and with different letters on it. So if you spell out the name Blanton's, you can send them to them, and they will give you a like display case for all your toppers and everything else.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like all the horses are racing against each other.
Yeah, and then
Pretty
it
cool.
looks like the sequence of a horse's stride. Yep.
I already have ideas for the cover art for this.
It is a total waste of money, but hey, it's the thrill of the chase, I guess.
You got a little wet bar back there.
It's more than a little wet bar. Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's kind of my hobby is collecting some of these bourbons from around the country. So it's pretty fun. It keeps me busy.
That's cool, man. I used to work at a whiskey bar right before I jumped on with the company that I'm hawking.
So
Right.
before we dive in and we ask you what your first concert was, could you quickly, in like a 1 paragraph, tell us what the difference is between bourbon and whiskey?
It's the mash bill. Bourbon has to be a certain percentage of corn instead of rye.
Yes,
There you have
but
it.
here's the rub.
There's a rub.
Is that whiskey? Let's see, bourbon is a whiskey, but whiskey is not a bourbon.
Oh,
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
so
It's
say
kinda
that
like
one
the-
more time.
It's like the square rectangle thing. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle's not a square.
There you have it. Dropping knowledge bombs.
Boom.
Knowledge
Yeah.
Or nuggets. Nuggets, not knowledge bombs. That might be tricky.
Just make sure you send Buffalo Trace a letter that we're going to need some royalties for this episode going live.
Yeah.
We'll create an affiliate link.
Yeah,
So,
there you go.
So to the original question, which I think in any of the first 2 appearances of Eric Brown, there was no first question of who was your first concert?
Ooh.
First concert was actually the Beach Boys. How about
Oh
that?
dang.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
Somebody
right?
else had that. Somebody else has had.
Yeah, and the encore was the 409. She's real fine, my 409. Yeah, that was their encore, man. It was great.
So Brian Wilson
awesome.
had his feet in the sand under the piano.
No, I don't know. It was at an outdoor venue though, so it was pretty nice. I remember sitting on the lawn on our big blankets with my parents, and yeah. It was a
So
good time.
you may not have known this, but Brian Wilson had to have the sand brought. So there's actually a sand handler that would bring the sand and put it under his feet, so he had his feet in the sand.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna remember
Maybe
that.
there's
I love useless like trivia like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
So-
Yeah, heck yeah.
If you're ever on Family Feud, that could come up.
It could, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
we have to get the Sandman on Insurance Dudes.
Oh my God. Yeah. What was your job? Well, I used to take the sand around all these concerts. Dude, that'd be so baller.
Not
That
Brian
would
Wilson,
be-
the sand guy.
Yeah, just the sand
no.
guy. Yeah.
So for any of the listeners, there's a lot of new listeners. In fact, every week it seems to be going up. It's quite something, and we appreciate everybody that's listening, especially those that subscribe and leave us a review. We really love them on iTunes.
Love them.
Love them.
All the dudes
But
and dudettes.
all of the ones. Yeah.
As long as it's a good review.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
I don't
went
care.
in
I
there
like
and
the
loved-
bad one. I honestly like
They
it.
gave us a 1 star. Meh.
All right.
We put up a video on YouTube, which you can also subscribe to, and somebody gave us a thumb down.
Ah.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? We are doing well because we have a hater. Would it be the same person that may have deleted video too much, too soon? So just get myself in trouble.
Oh, Mr. Craig.
That was Mr. Jason that said that. So Eric, anybody who doesn't know you or has been living under a rock, why don't you give a quick background, what you've done, why you're famous, and how you're helping people?
Yes.
Trust me, I'm not famous. I think people just like to hear me talk because I say the F word a lot, and it makes people laugh.
You did wear a pink suit.
Yeah, right. My suit jackets are pretty baller. I got a snakeskin one now for my next event.
Woo!
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Dang.
No, you know what? It's weird. I think I have a unique story. I didn't come from the insurance background or anything like that. I came from the military and law enforcement background.
Well, thank you for your service.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. Absolutely. I was injured in a car accident while a police officer responding to a call. A drunk driver ran a red light, T-boned my cruiser, put me through the side of a building, forced me off on a medical retirement. So I had an accident reconstruction company, which is Crash Tech. I still have it. And so, I got approached by one of the insurance carriers and said, hey, we're a vendor of yours or a client of your reconstruction companies, and we like what you do. Any chance you'd want to come out and sell insurance? And I'm like, nope, go pound salt. And I avoided them, and for probably for about a year I avoided them, and they stalked me on LinkedIn and everything else, and eventually talked me into it. So I opened a scratch agency here in Ohio, built that up here over the last 2 years, and am currently looking to sell it. And I tell you what, it's one of those things. I've loved my journey in insurance, and it taught me more about business branding and marketing than I ever could have learned in an entire lifetime doing anything else. So I've taken all of those lessons, started to pour them into my reconstruction company, and now it's just becoming a monster. And so I said, you know what, I think this is a good time to sell my agency, take the money that I make from that sale and sink it even more so into the reconstruction company and just continue to blow it up.
That is awesome.
So.
And reconstruction company. So talk about how does that go hand in hand with insurance?
Yeah, how?
So interestingly enough, the reconstruction company is kind of on the backside of what you guys do all the time, because we're the ones that are working with all of the claims handlers. Mm-hmm. And so, if you get into a bad enough car accident or you end up killing somebody in your car, your insurance company is going to reach out to a reconstructionist to get an unbiased opinion of the crash. And we can figure out, all the speeds just by your skid marks, the amount of crush damage to your car, all that kind of stuff. So we can calculate all those things. We put the accident back together. And then either if we were hired by the plaintiff side, we're the ones that will come in and sue you. If we're working for your insurance company, then we'll come in and we will defend you. So it's kind of fun that we get to work on that side of the accident instead of being on the front end and the preemptive side of it.
That's crazy. So what have you learned from doing that you've taken back to your agency and vice versa?
A lot of agents fail to do their jobs. And
expand on that.
Yeah.
You just made everybody angry.
Yeah, well, seriously, and so it's weird because since we're dealing with the lawsuits and since I see the devastation that these lawsuits cause in people's lives. And you're like, daggone it, man, if this guy's agent would have just did his freaking job, all of this would have been avoided. It's interesting because, when you look at it and you start breaking it down, and one of the biggest things that I talk to agents about is taking this bias that we have when we talk to customers, right? And you really have three categories of customers. You have your young adults, people that are just coming into adulthood, maybe college goers, stuff like that. You have your like middle-aged adults, and then you have your elderly adults and starting to get into your senior citizens and retirement age
like
people.
Me.
Like Craig. Yeah. And, and so it's weird because you look at this, and as our staff out there, as our sales staff, and even the agents themselves look at it, you got to pardon me because I'm at my home office, so people are going to walk in. You're going to see my wife probably walk in here on me in just a second.
Oh, it's all good.
So if
she going to yell at you?
If she walks in here, you guys can yell at her and she can get some national attention. So,
well, she going to yell at you is the question.
Oh, there she is.
Hey, not in her undies.
She's not yelling at you. Gosh, it's different than my house.
Eric said you'd be in your undies.
I just got home from work.
And she brought the dogs with her. That's the only downside of working at home is people walk in. But no, and so what we're finding is that people take these biases, right? And who do we always see? And especially like the Geicos right now, right? Anybody here that's a captive agent and you've lost a customer to Geico, what does Geico always do, right? They talk to your customer and they're like, oh, you're a 22-year-old kid. You don't need this high coverage. You need state minimum, right? And people seem to believe it because they're like, you don't have any assets. But the problem is that if you break the numbers down, and I can do the math with you guys to show you, but the younger adults and the elderly are actually the most at risk that need the higher limits than your actual middle-aged adults.
Sure.
And so it's odd like that. It's backwards than what you would think. But the numbers are there to support it.
Crazy. So expand on that more.
Yeah. So let's take for an example. All right. Say you have an accident and, on your liability limits, you've got $100,000 in coverage, right? Which is pretty typical, 100, 300. Okay. Well, that 100,000 is for any single injury caused in a crash. But what has today's healthcare costs done? I mean, they've skyrocketed. So, yeah. If you're talking that somebody gets transported from the accident scene to the hospital by ambulance, gets checked in, God forbid stays overnight, gets a CAT scan, an MRI, EKG, all this other stuff in the ER, gets admitted, and God forbid they have surgery, 100,000 is gone already. And you haven't even started to touch the surface now of a lawsuit. Yeah. So, we start to look at right now, the average lawsuits that we're seeing across the country are about $600,000 is about average.
Wow.
Okay. And so,
say that number again. I think it's very important.
About 600,000 is what we're seeing for serious injury or
crazy
fatalities.
600,000, and that's not even if there's the helicopter involved, right?
No, that's just car to car. Or
how much is that helicopter ride?
Right.
150.
Imagine that, or
120.
And we're not even talking property damage. We're talking liability only. That's all we're talking about. Oh. And so, think about like in these categories, let's just take our young adult, for example. So I looked this up before we get on here, right? And I'm like, all right, so let's say they have a $600,000 lawsuit. Typically, what do you see a young adult, 22-year-old kid, 23-year-old kid, what's their insurance coverage that you typically see?
1530.
Yeah, or 2550 in my case, because the East Coast states seem to be a little bit higher on state minimum. But state minimum.
I thought that they were higher on the West Coast.
I don't know. They're all, far west, I guess.
Bad joke. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. Oh, higher.
What can you do?
Oh, geez. But no, so let's just say they got 25,000, right? Mm-hmm. If you got sued for 600,000, first thing we're going to do is take that 25 grand out off there. So you're left owing 575,000. Let's say this 20-some-year-old kid has $10,000 in savings and investments that his parents, stocks and bonds, grandma, grandpa put aside for him, all that. We're going to deplete your entire savings account, all your investments. You're left owing 565,000. Right?
Yep.
Parents bought you a $50,000 life insurance policy as a kid, right? We're going to force you to cash that in, and we'll take that 50 grand. So you still owe me 515,000. Average salary for a 25-year-old in the United States right now is 45,000 a year, or 1,700 to pay. Okay.
Yep. Here's the magic. This is the part that nobody even thinks about.
Yeah. So we can garnish up to 30% of your pay to repay that $515,000 that you owe me. So that takes you, once I garnish that 30%, you went from making $1,700 a pay to $1,200 a pay. And
what if I don't want to pay that? What if I don't?
Doesn't matter. The courts will garnish it.
That'll
Before it
just
even
come
hits your
straight
bank
out.
account, we'll just take it.
What percentage gets garnished that you've
What's that?
seen? What percentage gets garnished that you've
Anywhere
seen?
between 20 and 30%.
So it's really rolling. You're rolling the dice.
Yeah. And so think about this.
Not
though.
the fun way, not like in Vegas.
If I'm taking 30% of your pay and you're making 45,000 a year, it will take you 38 years to pay off this lawsuit.
Dang.
So if you got sued when you're 25, you're going to be paying on it till you're 63 years old. And while your wages are being garnished and you have an active lawsuit against you,
yep,
you cannot save, invest, buy a house, file bankruptcy. Any extra money that you have has to go towards your lawsuit. So you can't even.
But you know what, Eric? I'm a really good driver. I'm not gonna get in an accident.
You know what? Look at every accident that you've seen on the side of the road. Did either of those drivers wake up today and say, you know what? I'm getting in an accident today.
But I'm really a good driver.
They weren't.
Right. But yeah, I mean, so it's crazy, and you can run that same model out for a middle-aged adult. The only difference is a middle-aged adult, you can sell your house.
Right.
So, you know what I mean, for the positive equity, and you could probably get that down to maybe only owing 100,000. You're going to have a higher paying job. So you can get that lawsuit paid off a little bit quicker. Mm-hmm. But like, look at an elderly adult, right? I mean, man, if they're on Social Security and they only have that $2,550, we're going to take your entire savings, retirement, investments, all that same stuff's going to go. We're going to take your life insurance policy. And imagine if you're a 70-year-old, 65-year-old, and I take your life insurance. You ever going to get another life policy? Not for what you were paying.
Nope.
But we're going to take that. We're going to force you to sell your house, force you to sell off all of your assets at an auction, take all that money, and you're still going to end owing for the rest of your life. And yeah, some states you can garnish Social Security under certain circumstances, and it's really hard to do, but you can. But if we don't garnish the Social Security, you at least still have to pay that restitution. So yeah, you may get your full Social Security check, but you have a bill every month for $700 from the government that you got to pay from your Social Security.
And all you had to do was skip Denny's once a month.
Yeah.
Good old Denny's.
I mean, that's hard to do. I mean, imagine giving up a big slam, every month. I mean, like, that's asking a lot. That is.
Right. Well, the slams are slamming, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Or heaven forbid, you don't go to Starbucks and you make a coffee at home.
Right.
Instead of paying $6 for your coffee.
It's my Starbucks K cup, but those K cups are expensive. I tell you.
I just got an espresso machine. Have you ever seen those?
That's what I have.
An espresso one? Yeah. I mean, I normally I don't go down that aisle because I don't make that much money yet. So like I avoid that aisle.
The Nespresso. Yeah, those pods are like 70 cents.
Life changing. But you can get them off Amazon. They're pretty decent deal.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
We'll put a link to our affiliate link for Nespresso.
Nespresso and Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
So, please see our sponsors at the end of the show.
So that's crazy, and those numbers are real. And I think that the hardest thing for us to do as agents is to train our agents, especially when they're younger, that this can really happen. And the payouts of being 600,000, like that's a crazy number for, I think, somebody in their 20s to understand that this is actually happening.
It becomes very real, especially when I tell you that, dude, if you had this accident today, you're going to be paying on this for 38 years to pay this off. Like that's crazy. That blows your mind to think, man, for longer than you've been on this planet, you're going to be paying this lawsuit off.
How many accidents in the state of Ohio a year?
Serious injury and fatals.
Just let's say accidents in general.
I want to say I thought our last number was 117,000 injury accidents, I think.
117,000 injury accidents in 1 year. And you're in Ohio. What's the population of Ohio?
I think we're at what, like
Couple million?
Yeah, we're at a couple million.
Okay.
Nothing crazy, though.
So take California, who has what, 40 million?
Yeah.
Okay, 40 million people, and you just said it's about 10%.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I can't even do that math. So there's 4 million. Was it 5%? His math?
Something like that.
Well, somewhere, let's say 5 to 10%. Let's be conservative, 5%. So there are 2 million injury accidents in California, which actually it's likely higher because let's be real. Everybody's going 90 miles an hour in California. So, and the pot is legal. So, there's some other contributing factors there. The pot is legal. And so, you've got a very high likelihood of this kind of thing happening to you.
Well, and so in California, just last
except maybe
year,
there's no attorneys in California. There's no attorneys in California.
I don't think
No.
so. No, none. In California, last year there was more than 32,000 fatalities from car accidents.
Wow.
So that doesn't even include just injuries, just 32,000 deaths.
But there's no toilet paper at Costco because of the coronavirus.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but that's just it. I mean, think about how many people freak out about the flu and coronavirus and all this stuff. And you've got more deaths in California from a car accident in 1 year than the entire United States for the flu or the coronavirus. But
and
yet everybody will spend that money, right? To
run out and buy 5 30 packs of toilet paper for $150 instead of paying $10 more to have the right amount of coverage, or $20 a month for an umbrella that takes you to $1 million. I mean, it's insanity.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's it. Is I think a lot of insurance people are afraid to have this conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
But it's a conversation that you have to have, and it has to be very real. You know what I mean? Like you can't just be like, blah, 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 and just sugarcoat. I mean, this has to be a real conversation with people of, look, this is insane that you're willing to risk your entire life over $20 a month.
Dude, Jason, I mean, not to take us out of character here, but literally we should have NV cut this part out so that agents across the country could share this for their staff, put it on their Facebook, because this is why we're valuable. Right. Somebody when it switched to us because of Root, because it was, they had Root, which, I mean, it's not even a call center. It's a freaking app, Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's so much value to us in recommending the right stuff, because if people didn't show up with 1530 or 2550, then we would know that they're making the right decisions. Right? That they can buy it themselves. They have an understanding of how important this is, yet they continue on the daily lead after lead after lead that we buy to have state minimum.
Right.
Right. And they have no idea the ramifications or the likelihood that they could be on the losing side of that deal.
And even on that, when they, people think about anytime they call in and they say, you know what, I got a better deal from Geico or got a better deal from Root or Lemonade or Hippo or all these other carriers that are popping up. Two questions that have to be asked is, one, okay, I understand you got a better rate. What are your limits that they're giving you? And go through those limits. And then two, what's the power that this company has to represent you in court?
Yes.
And that becomes a significant factor, right? Is, you think about some of these bigger carriers, let's, look at State Farm or Nationwide, even, for example, right? I mean, State Farm, I think, is still the number one auto insurer, I believe, in the world, aren't they?
They've made some good decisions.
Yeah. And so, if you look at that, what's their ability to retain the best attorneys out there to represent you? Because they don't want to cut, they don't want to cut $1 million check or $1.5 million check. And that's the other thing too that you got to realize is if all the insurance company has on the line for you is $25,000 and they're out and you owe the rest, what are the chances that they're going to come defend you in court? Or are they just going to pay the $25,000 check and be done? Yeah, they're going to be like, boom, here's your check, Mr. Injured guy. Here's 25 grand. See ya. Oh, sorry, insured. And by the way, we're dropping you because you killed somebody with your car.
And let me take it one piece further. I think this is also very important. Not all coverage limits are created the same. You could have, you mentioned one company over on this side that is known as a cheapo, right? You could have them with 100, 300, and then you could have the other number one company over on this side with 100, 300. Where are they going to spend their attorney money? Are they going to spend their attorney money to not pay you because their costs are so low, or are they going to spend their money to protect you? Yep. And I think that's a very, very important distinction. We've had a number of people. I mean, my sales manager, myself have had interactions with that lizard, and where they're spending the money to not pay us instead of just paying, right? Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't even big, 50,000. My kids, I've talked about it a million times. My kids were in an injury accident, both injured. My son was at the hospital overnight. It was $50,000. It's been 3 years. Yeah. And that bill has not been paid.
Yep. I know. It's crazy. And, you know what? And so Craig, actually, so to your point, right, of think about how many customers that you guys have that say that of, I'm a safe driver, right? That would never happen to me. I'm a safe driver. Okay.
Right.
Well, and we hear that all the time when people are like, oh, I'm a safe driver. Yeah, you may be. But what happens when your car is involved in an accident and you're not even in it?
Right. Yep. So crazy. I mean, there's so many scenarios. You could play out so many different scenarios with that. I mean, how many times we always hear it too when somebody's driving on the freeway and a chair's flying at them off of somebody's car.
Yep.
And it's like, was that collision? It's like, yeah, you collided with it. Well, you could have swerved and hit somebody else. Like, so the only option was to get in an accident in which it was your fault regardless, because you know what I mean? It's like, you could be the greatest driver in the world, but
I was on the freeway right here in Tucson driving to my other office going significantly faster probably than I should have been. and something, this like piece of wood, it was like two by, like I could see it. Like it was two 2x4s that were like nailed together in a square. It looked like about the size of a Rubik's Cube, maybe a little bit bigger. And it came off something and it was going fast and I was going fast, but it's bounce, and it's coming straight at my windshield. And I mean, you're just like, what? Ah! And I was in the Tesla, which is heavy, right? And I like jerked, like I don't know what happened. Like reptilian brain took over, right?
Yeah.
I swerved. If I was and nothing, I mean, just because it's so stable, right? That car is so stable, has such big wheels, nothing happened. I didn't swerve. I was lucky and it barely missed. But if I was in a Hyundai or some smaller little car, I flip. I mean, that thing would have flipped. Like, cause it just is, it doesn't have the stability. And it was like, I pulled over and I was like, holy crap. Like just out of nowhere. I was paying attention. What if I'd been looking if I had been looking at the radio, would have hit the windshield, then who knows what the hell I would have done.
That's some Final Destination stuff. So Jason, don't be walking with Craig near any construction sites. Steel beams are going to start falling on him.
That's when it was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Now you got to have a baby, because the only making life is the only thing that beats cheating death.
No baby. Done.
But, I mean, so so you guys are 100% right there. There's a million scenarios out there that we deal with every day, and it's oh my God, it's crazy. And so for instance, and even if nothing else, if anybody that watches this takes anything away, even if you can't bump up personal injury in your liability, bump up property damage.
Yep.
What does it hurt? What does it hurt to max out property damage to 500,000 or whatever? I mean,
every agent is saying loss ratio right now.
Yeah, right. But you know what? But at the end of the day, and so here, this past winter, and so Craig, here in some of the other states, we get this stuff called snow, right? And it's like
I don't know
white powder. Yeah, it falls from the sky. It's slippery.
Cold.
So, yeah.
Weird. I don't know.
Right. So driving up 75 up into Michigan, we had a 75 car pileup, killed 4 people, involved. I think it had 6 or 7 tractor trailers, you know, and all these cars. And all the insurance companies hire all these reconstructionists, and they sit us all down, and they're like, we want you guys to go through everything and find the first car that caused this entire chain of event. They're the ones responsible. How much property damage is done in that big pileup? Probably more than 25, 50 grand.
Yeah. More than 10K?
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm guessing, you know, yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy and things people don't think about. And so, you know, and another kind of crazy example was somebody had a utility pole, sheared the utility pole, and it caused a power surge into the substation. So into that substation, and then this was just outside of Cleveland. So they had 20,000 homes lose power, and all these homeowners are calling in saying, you know, all my food's going bad in my refrigerator and stuff. That all goes on your car insurance.
Oh,
how much does it cost to replace the food contents of 20,000 homeowners?
Perhaps more than 10,000.
You know what I mean?
Perhaps.
So yeah, I mean, it's crazy, and it's, you know, all these things that people don't think about.
Yep.
But they happen every day. I mean, enough so that it keeps not only all the insurance companies employed, but the attorneys, us, you know, and all these other people out there.
Yeah,
that's
and
insane.
in the case that we have this, you know, the lizard thing, it was their coverages were 250, 500, 10.
Yeah, I see that all
you
the
have
time.
People writing garbage policies that like, and it doesn't even cost anything different, but just the idea that the public doesn't know about these things, then that's our job. That's our producers' jobs to have that conversation so that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And well, I mean, we always say in our agency that you like raise the property damage. We have a kind of a threshold to where it's like you got to raise the bodily injury too, but we have that conversation where it's like, why would you cover all these cars and not cover them? Like if they're injured, they need to be or if they injured the other party, they need to be covered for these crazy, devastating $600,000 claims. You know what I mean? Like you and it goes back to doing the best interest of the person rather than the price. Like you gotta, and we have this conversation all the time. You cannot think, if you think about price, you're completely like, no doctor thinks about price. You don't go in and say, oh, my guts are hurting and all this stuff. Like, and he comes out and he says, well, the cheapest rate I can give you for, you know what I mean? It's like, what? No, like prescribe me what I need.
Well, let me get you
here's a value plan for treating you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the problem, I think, is people are afraid to come off as expensive. And I'm like, you're not coming off as expensive. When you have these good conversations with people, you're coming off as professional.
Right.
You know what 100%. I mean? And there's a lot to be said about that. And so, you know, you can be expensive, and especially some of the captive agents, you have the power of having your brand behind you that are very premium brands. So you have a reason, an inherent value just by your brand to be more.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people don't understand that is people already come into the conversation expecting that you're going to be more because you're one of these premium brands. And that's okay. So, you know, what I've always told people whenever I talk to a sales agent, and I think this is kind of a good rule of thumb, is by the time that a quote is wrapping up, you want the customer on the other end of the line to be scared of the price. And if you actually get them to ask you like, oh man, what's this going to cost me? Then you've done your job right. Because then when you give them the price and you're like, oh, well, it's only $10 more than you're paying now. Right? Because the reason they're saying that, the reason they're thinking it's going to be so expensive is because you've built so much value.
Yep.
Right?
They now they now have the perception that there's value there, right? And
right. And you know, and the easiest way to explain that is go to a car dealership and you know, if you walk in and you're like, man, I'm looking, even let's say you go in looking for a Toyota Camry and they show you the base Model 1. I don't know if they still even have cranked windows and just AC and stuff like that. But then the dealer's like, but let me show you this car that has heated seats, heated steering wheel, ventilated seats, power everything, cruise control, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, dang, this is going to be expensive. But he's like, you know what? But the price difference is only $10 more a month. Aren't you like, oh shit. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I get so much more car for only $10 more a month than what I'm currently paying.
You're already spending 18 grand. Why not spend an extra 10 bucks?
Right, exactly. And
that's it. That's the only game to play. If you're playing the other game, you're losing. I mean, that's just it.
Yeah. And so, and that's it is do the jobs. And, I've threatened this when I've come out to agencies and agents will bring me out to talk to their sales staff. And I've often said that when I go into court and somebody's being sued, one of your clients is being sued and they're on the hook and they're going to lose everything. They're going to lose their house, their cars, savings, retirement, wage garnishment, college funds, everything's wiped out. That devastation that they have in their eyes and everything, I'm going to subpoena you to court, if nothing else, just to sit in the audience and have to look your client in the face when they're going through all that and say, that's because you didn't do your job. That's why it's not the client's fault. It's because you didn't do your job.
Right.
The client's, that's your fault.
Yep. The client's only doing what they're taught to do from all the marketing, right? Which is, I just need the cheapest thing and I need to do it real fast because I'm in a hurry and I hate insurance. And it's our job to help unwind that. We were talking about it on our EverQuote webinar right before. Jason's like king at meeting them where they are, right? Yes. Oh yeah. We're going to find you the best deal. Like you align with them at the beginning with their incorrect thinking. Because you can't say, no, you have to do it this way. No, you have to earn the right to get them to think that way. But, align and then push through and then you get there. But it is our responsibility.
Yeah, 100%. And, and that's it is when they're sitting in that box, man, getting sued and losing everything. If you didn't do your job, that's on you. If a doctor doesn't do his job and you die, look how hard they take it. You know what I mean? Man, it busts them up. They're like, dang, I messed up and this guy died. Same thing for an insurance agent. You messed up and this person lost everything.
I love what you said. They should be scared to hear the price, build the value so much that they should be scared because your price is going to be so expensive. And scared for some reason,
intrigued,
Yeah. And I always told my staff that is I'm like, if the customer asks you as you're wrapping everything up and you're kind of just doing your recap and you're getting that yes momentum going, if the customer stops you and says, man, I'm almost afraid to ask you what this is going to cost, just tell them, be like, you know what, just get your credit card out because you're about to buy insurance. Because at that point you've got them because they're on the hook, because they see the value, they understand it.
You can, my business partner with Agency Vault talks about it all the time. You're raising the bar of what's at stake, right? If you don't raise the bar and create that, it's not fear mongering. It's just like it's reality. If you don't paint the picture of the true reality of what's at risk and raise the bar of what's at stake, then you aren't doing your job because they don't want to be here. We're worse than the dentist, all these things, right? But we are one of the most important people, and our producers, not really us, our producers are the most important people that they can meet with to protect everything that they have. A freaking app is not going to do that.
Right. Yeah. And realistically, I mean, that's it. The most important thing that you get that you guys have and that your sales producers have, and if you're a sales producer watching this, the most valuable thing that you have is your advice. That advice carries so much value, like unbelievable amount of value. So when people are like, oh gosh, I don't see why, we're this much more. We don't, we're getting a little bit better limits, but just alone, even if limit for limit, and we never quote apples to apples ever because you can't. So FYI, that's the other little thing I'm going to give you is if somebody ever tells you, or asks you, you know what, I understand all this, I just want an apples to apples quote. I literally tell them, it's impossible for me to give you one because my company can't write a policy as bad as the policy you currently have.
Right.
And that's the truth of it. Because there, one, like Craig said, there's things that not every policy is written the same. Not every coverage is the same. And so, a lot of the coverages that your company has and stuff like that are going to be better than anything that the competition has to offer. And there's things in these policies that somebody else doesn't even offer. So it's impossible for me to write a policy as bad as the policy you currently have. So I can't quote you apples to apple. I just physically can't.
It's interesting that nobody or many folks don't realize like this thing has the same numbers, this thing has the same numbers, this one costs half as much, there has to be a reason.
Yeah.
Right?
But they,
There has
but they
to be
get it.
a reason.
But they get it in everything else in their lives. Consumers get it, right?
Yep.
BMW and Kia both get you down the road.
Yeah.
Right? They both have engines and 4 tires and doors. You know, Samsung and Insignia from Best Buy, they both show pictures on your TV, right? I mean, they're both the same size. Like, people get it in every other aspect of their life except insurance. And that becomes your job as the insurance agent, as the professional, is to show them what that is. And by having these conversations, understanding, like I said, you know, what my company does on the back end of it to not only support you guys or, God forbid, to square off against you when our victims are the ones that are hurt. You know, but that's your job to know this stuff of what's going on and be able to educate the client on it.
Yep. Mic drop.
Man, awesome. So, out of curiosity, if you had a new agent coming into this world, who's going to jump in, crazy enough to do this, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to them besides listening to the Insurance Dudes and giving it, subscribing and liking it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? In all honesty, the biggest piece of advice I could give somebody is you are responsible for people's livelihoods. That is one of the biggest responsibilities you have, because not only are you just responsible for their house and their car and stuff like that, but think about that. Think about how devastating that would be. You are responsible, if I'm your client, for my ability to provide a living for my family and my kids. And if you mess up, I lose all that. And like I said before, that's on you, because I don't know. I'm a dumb consumer. So you have to be the professional. Don't be afraid to be the professional. Don't be afraid to take your job seriously and personally, and just do the best you can for every customer you talk to. And whether they buy or not, leave them better off. And if that's just with advice, then that's just with advice. But do the best you can and leave every client better off.
And with your experience in your agency, the agents, your sales producers that follow that, are they the highest in sales or lowest?
Yeah, they're absolutely the highest. They will always write more business. And not only just from the customers that they get, but then those customers also will send them the referrals. Because when you take it very personally and you go through things very professionally, those clients that you're helping will always be the ones that are going to send their friends and family to you. They're going to be like, man, this guy did so good. He took so good care of me. He explained things to me nobody else did. You know, everything else.
That's it. Yep. Well, thank you so much, Mr. EB, for your three-peat.
Yeah.
The incredible value. Dude, you're always willing to help out agents, and that's so awesome, man. So
yep, absolutely.
I think that this will be the episode to train all of our sales agents on, for everybody out there.
Yeah, there you go. And if you guys ever need some stories or to talk some strategy of why certain coverages are important, you know, for anybody, reach out to me, friend me on Facebook, shoot me a message or an email or whatever. Always happy to talk to people, staff, and explain to them like why these coverages are important, what they do. I mean, they're more than just numbers on a piece of paper. There are those of us out there that rely on the job that you guys do in order to set us up to succeed in court and to be able to protect your guys' clients.